Business loan brokers know that $100,000 months are possible, but the gap between knowing that and getting that comes down to good lead selection and a good follow-up process. I want to make this very clear. This is not about motivation. This is not about working harder. This isn't about pounding the phone. This is about getting good leads. Most loan brokers aren't lazy. They're just working the wrong leads and using the wrong process. The brokers who consistently hit strong months know that a single lead can produce multiple commissions and that those commissions can come in over months and years with a good lead source and a good follow-up process. What I want to walk through here is how successful loan brokers think about lead selection and how they manage their follow-up process. Let's start with lead selection because that's where most downstream problems start in the first place. The biggest problem with most leads on the market is that they're not fresh, exclusive leads. They're not real-time leads. They're old, refresh leads, and that somebody else has already produced, that somebody else has already worked, and they're getting rid of their junk. The problem is that nobody has an incentive to give you a whole bunch of good leads unless they're the person that actually is creating the leads. There's only two people who have leads. They're the loan brokers and the lenders. Neither one of them has any reason to give you a good lead. A loan broker is going to keep a good lead for himself, and a lender is certainly not going to give you a good lead. So the only leads you're going to be able to buy, other than from people who are actually producing the leads, is a lead that somebody else decided they didn't want anymore. Now, maybe they didn't want the lead because they couldn't get the lead done because of bad credit. Maybe the person didn't have any revenue. Maybe they didn't want to borrow very much money. You know, a lot of people say, well, I want a business loan. I only want to borrow $5,000. It's tough to make money on that. What you want is what's called a long form lead, a real-time long form lead, where the person is going online, they're answering 9 or 10 relevant questions so that the good leads can be filtered out so that you just get the cream, so that you can actually close 9 or 10% or better of the leads and not have to worry about getting a 0.1% and maybe fighting for a $2,000 commission out of one of 1,000 leads. You can be getting a 10% close rate and be looking at commissions of $5,000 to $50,000. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how to get those long form, real-time exclusive business loan leads. If you don't want to wait that long, just shoot me a text to 309-261-9101 and I'll reach out to you, go over everything with you. First, I want to talk about the follow-up process because the best lead in the world isn't going to convert if you don't use a good process. Brokers are getting over $40,000 in the first month and over $100,000 within 60 to 90 days from just one batch of 100 leads. So I reached out to a loan broker, got his follow-up process, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. There are 4 percentages that come into play. The first percentage is what percentage of leads do you get on the phone? The second percentage is what percentage of leads that you get on the phone submit an application. The third percentage is what percentage of the people who submit an application are approved by a lender. And then finally, of the ones that are approved by a lender, what percentage accept those terms? Let's run through some numbers for exclusive real-time business loan leads. Out of 100 leads, you might reasonably expect to contact 50% of them within the first 60 days. Out of 50 contacts, you might reasonably expect to get applications on 25 of them. Out of 25 applications, you might expect to get approvals from lenders for 2/3 of them. Out of 15 approvals, you can reasonably expect to have 1/3 to 2/3 accepted by the client. So out of 100 leads, you should be looking at in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 funded deals. On the first 100 leads, a beginner might get funded 3 or 4 or 5 of the first 100 leads. Out of the second batch of 100, or with a more experienced loan broker, they might be getting 5 to 10% of the leads funded. And then finally on the third order, or with more experience, a loan broker might get 7 to 12 of the leads funded within the first 60 to 90 days. About half of those are going to come in the first 30 days, and the other half are going to come in 60 to 90 days. The larger deals are going to take longer. Step 1 is timing. Call them at different times of the day, different days of the week to work with their schedule. Don't just call only in the mornings, or don't just call only in the afternoons. Don't have a system where you're calling the same people always in the mornings and these other people always in the afternoon. Make sure that you're calling the people, each of the leads, at a different time of the day, a different day of the week, so that you're reaching them when they're available. The biggest mistake that people make is not trying to continue to contact the people for at least 60 days. I know it sounds extreme, but they don't know you yet. They don't know why they should answer the phone. They don't know why they should reply to your text messages. They don't know you yet. Now, once you've established a relationship with them it's going to be like anything else. They're going to be much more likely to pick up the phone. They're going to be much more likely to reply to your text messages and your emails. Right now, they don't know you. The burden is on you to establish that initial contact. For the first week, you want to call them 3 times a day, text once a day, and send them 1 email every day. For week 2, call them twice a day, send a text every other day, and send an email every other day. For week 3, call them once a day, send them a text every 3rd day, and email them once a week. From week 4 on, call them once a day, send them a text once a week, and send them an email once a week. There are dialers like PhoneBurner that are going to enable you to make 100 dials an hour if no one's picking up the phone. And once you've got more than 50 leads in your pipeline, dialer like PhoneBurner is a great use of your resources. It costs about $100 a month, and it's going to allow you to be much, much more productive in reaching the people that you haven't reached yet. Once you've reached them, you had the conversation with them, they're going to answer the phone, they're going to reply to your text messages, and they're going to reply to your emails. But when you've got the people that you haven't contacted yet, you haven't communicated with yet, dialers like PhoneBurner, Prospect Boss are going to make your life much easier. Step 2 is trust. Give them something to say yes to. Don't just say that you're a loan broker. Give them a reason to believe that they want to do business with you. I call it permission to believe. They want to believe that you can help them. They really do. You have to give them permission to believe that by telling them why they can believe that you're going to be able to help them. It might be that you represent 387 lenders. It might be that you have been doing it for 12 years. It might be that this is all you do for the last 40 years of your life. It might be it's a family-owned business and you really care about your prospects. Whatever it is for you, give them permission to believe. Now, maybe it's just that you work real hard. The old Davis commercial, right? We're number 2, so we try harder. Maybe, hey, I am just getting going. I don't know if I necessarily say that, but you might say, I'm not married, I don't have any kids, I've got nothing to do but to get you the best deal possible. Whatever you can say that is going to give them permission to believe that you're going to be able to get them a good deal. You want to make sure that they know that. Also, try to be friendly. People do business with people that they like. If they don't like you, they might, if they're desperate, they might do 1 loan with you, but they're not going to do the next loan after that, next loan after that. They're going to switch to getting their loans through someone else. So if you want to get the first loan with somebody, you want to get repeat loans with them, establish rapport, get to know them, be friends with them. It's important. If they don't like you, they're not going to be nearly as likely to do business with you, and they're not going to be likely to do business with you in the years to come. Now, don't assume they only filled out 1 form. Don't assume that you're the only person they're talking to. What a lot of people will do is they will talk to their bank. The bank will say, well, gosh, this isn't going to be quick, So to hedge their bets, they're going to go online, they're going to fill out a form so that they have an alternative to their bank if the bank falls through. Sometimes they're looking for a better deal. Sometimes it's very important to them and they want a fallback plan for their bank. Sometimes the bank says, this isn't likely. I'm going to try, but I just want to let you know that this isn't likely. Okay, well, I want a fallback plan then. Sometimes they need the money faster than the bank is going to be able to do. Maybe they aren't confident that the bank is going to be able to get the money fast enough. Maybe they want an MCA loan and the bank isn't going to be able to help them. Maybe they need both. Maybe they need an MCA loan to cover their current situation and they need a term loan down the road. The bank isn't going to want to help them with the MCA loan. They're concerned they're going to run out of money before the bank is able to help them, or that their conditions are going to change before the bank can help them. So there can be a number of different reasons why they're filling out forms. So don't assume that just because they filled out a form online and they answered all the questions and they're a great prospect, don't assume that they're sitting by the phone with nothing else to do but to talk to you. It's up to you to make that contact. If they're complaining about something, even if it's the number of people calling them for a loan, be empathetic. People are going to do business with people that they like. Let them vent. It's okay. It's not personal. They don't know you. That can't be personal. So, don't take it personally. Let them vent, be empathetic. If they say, oh my God, I'm getting 20 phone calls a day. All right, well, let's get this taken care of so that you stop getting all those calls. Whatever you can say. I get calls from people all over the country. I have the same spam filters on my phone that you have on your phone. And I had a lady call me. Her phone registered probably spam. And so my phone didn't even ring. Now, that's not super unusual for my customers. So I called her back and said, hey, sorry, your call came through as probably spam. My phone didn't even ring when you called me the first time. That's why I called you back. She immediately started venting because she'd had that problem for a while where her phone was broadcasting probably spam and people didn't answer the phone. And she was upset. I was the person on the phone with her when she happened to be upset about it. And she let me have an earful. And she said, well, if you're going to be like that, I don't want to do business with you. And so I explained that had happened to me in the past, which it had. And I had to be on the phone with a cell phone carrier for about 6 hours to get it straightened out in my case so that my phone would stop broadcasting probably spam. And once I shared that experience with her, established rapport with her, she's a great client. She buys every possible lead she can from me as often as she can. She's a wonderful client, but the first conversation we had was basically, her giving me an earful. So establish rapport, don't be afraid to let them vent, and don't be afraid to empathize. Now, the third step, which is the approval rate with your existing lenders, that's a little bit out of your hands. You can do the application to the best of your ability. You can gather all the information. The lenders are going to approve the people that they approve. About the only thing you can do to improve your odds is to get involved with a credit repair program to help out the people that are not approved because they have bad credit. If you have people that for some reason your lenders don't approve because of their industry, bad credit, almost anything, I know loan brokers that can just get darn near anybody approved. So you'll still get a share of the commission and they'll still stay your client because you helped them find an alternative. So you're still going to be able to get the downrange business with them, but you can still help somebody even if the lenders you've got initially turn them down. Now, step 4 is the acceptance rate. Again, people do business with people they like. If you've established rapport, they're going to be more likely to do business with you. So, don't think, I got this loan accepted. The lender accepted it. Now I've got to get the client to accept it. And generally speaking, you can expect about half, about a third to 2/3, depends on the terms you get, depends on the circumstances, where the customer is going to accept the loan. Rapport helps a lot because some of this is a judgment call. Should they get the MCA loan? Should they get a term loan? Should they get an MCA loan, then a term loan? Your advice plays a role in their decision, and they're going to be more likely to take your advice if you've established rapport. The biggest mistake that people make is trying to maximize their commissions or not doing the best thing for the customer. One loan broker had a customer, he was in the process of getting him a very good term loan, and he personally good about MCA loans. The customer wanted an MCA loan to carry him over until the term loan came in. The broker thought the term loan was going to come in pretty fast, and so he pushed back on it, said, no, you don't need to do that. This is going to be coming in within a week. The customer wasn't confident it was going to come in within a week. So he got an MCA loan with another loan broker. The first loan broker missed out on a $17,000 commission on the MCA loan. He still got the term loan, but he missed out. He's kicking himself because he missed out on an easy $17,000 because he didn't give the customer what the customer wanted. So if they want a term loan, if the best thing for them is a term loan, give them a term loan. If the best thing is an SBA loan, give them an SBA loan. If the best thing is an MCA loan, give them an MCA loan. Don't try to pigeonhole them into one thing or another, one product or another product. Give them the best deal for that customer. If you take good care of the customer is going to take good care of you. You want to be their long-term provider. As many as 85% of your loan customers are going to come back for loan after loan after loan because you did a good job for them and they liked you. So where do you get good, high-quality business loan leads? Well, there's a couple things. To give yourself the maximum possibility of reaching them, you want to reach them as fast as possible after they fill out the form. So you want real-time leads. Second, you want long-form leads. If the person is filling out just their name, their phone number, and their email address, that doesn't take a lot of work. And it doesn't give any mechanism for a process for filtering out the good leads from the bad leads. The world is pyramid-shaped. There's a whole lot more small businesses than there are large businesses. And there are a whole lot more people that are not good loan prospects than there are that are good loan prospects. So you want to have a long-form lead where the person's filling out 8, 9, 10, 11 questions that are relevant and questions that can be used to determine how good a prospect they are. And then once it's been established that they are a good prospect, you want to get that lead followed up on as fast as possible. They call it speed to lead. Ideally, you're going to get a hold of them within 5 minutes. Now, these are good leads. You don't necessarily have to get a hold of them within the first 5 minutes. You will do business with people that you haven't got a hold of in 2 months because these are real leads. These are not just tire kickers, okay? If they haven't got a hold of them in the first 5 minutes, don't panic. Don't think you missed your shot. If you haven't got a hold of them in a month or 2 months, don't panic. You haven't missed your shot. You may get a hold of somebody, particularly on the larger loans, where the person's borrowing $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. It may be 60 or 90 days before you get them on the phone the first time. The quick deals, the smaller deals, where they're borrowing $100,000 or $150,000, $120,000, you're going to get a hold of those people pretty quickly, and you're going to be seeking commissions in the first month, money in your bank in the first month. The larger ones, $500,000 loans, it may take you 30 days to even get them on the phone. The $1 million loans, the $5 million loans, those may take 60, 90 days to get on the phone. Don't stop trying to contact them. The record, I believe, is about 18 months, where the broker continued to try to reach him for 18 months, and the guy finally answered the phone and said, "You know what? You are diligent. I think you're probably going to do a good job because you didn't give up for 18 months. You obviously want my business, and you've been in business for at least 18 months. So he ended up making the sale after 18 months. That's an extreme example. The point is, don't give up. If you feel like you just can't do it anymore, at least send them an email once a week, and then try to call them once a month, shoot them a text message once a month. But don't completely give up on them, because it may take you a year, and that person that it took a year to get a hold of might be another $20,000 in commissions for you. If you want to learn more about the business loan leads, you can give me a call, shoot me a text at 309-261-9101, or you can visit my website, mylasermarketing.com. Thank you. So on the where to get the good loan leads, I have them. You can contact me at 309-261-9101 or visit my website, mylasermarketing.com. Laser is spelled correctly with an S. And I usually recommend that you start with a batch of 50. Usually recommend that you get neighborhood of 10 a day for 5 days. After that first batch of 50, work them. As soon as you've made your first commission on a sale, or for a fact you've got several coming in, it's okay to go ahead and order again. You're going to get to the point where you're getting like after the first 50 leads, you're probably going to want to have the pace slow down to about 3 a day. So you're getting about 100 a month. And that'll be a good long-term volume for one person. These are not the types of leads that you're going to get 100 a day and just pound through them. They're much better leads than that. So after you get the first batch of 50, you've got some people in your pipeline, you got some work to do, and you're working on the paperwork and everything. After that, just get about 3 leads a day and a steady flow of 100 a month. And if you're following the process, you're doing a good job for the customers, you're probably going to be looking at about $100,000 a month in revenue.